Why, hello, Tube. Today we are here for the What is the Role of a BookTuber, aka the BookTuber Role Original Tag. Originally done by a new to me channel, Allison Annotated. And there's 7 questions about how you kind of view yourself as a BookTuber. So let's try it. Well, I can't guarantee that I'm not going to make a disaster of this. Number 1, how do you view your role as a booktuber? Examples might be as a critic, a curator, an influencer, an entertainer, or an educator. I view myself as an imposter. That's what I that's what I view myself as. I'm not a critic. I'm not a curator. I'm not an influencer. I'm an imposter. I came to reading pretty late in my life. As compared to a lot of you, I am not well read, and I read very shallowly. So yeah, I I I I don't know what I'm doing here most of the time. But besides this, I kind of use this as a book journal in a way, and I post it for the world to see. And if people like what I do, great. And if they don't like what I do, it's okay too. So um yeah, I don't really. I'm an imposter. Number 2, do you have any educational background in literature or literary criticism, either formal or self directed? And if you are comfortable sharing, do you have any other education or professional experience that you bring to bear on your reviews? Now, I don't consider myself a reviewer. But we'll get into that more later, I think. Uh, so, do I have any educational background? No. It wasn't until recently. I am an educated man. There's my diplomas right there. If you ever disbelief have disbelief in me that I'm an educated man, I'm an associate's there and a bachelor's right there. Got them last year. Well, I got the bachelor's last year. Um, and I wouldn't mind going on later, or going on further in my educational programs. But problem is that I want to pay down my student loans I already have, and I'm hoping eventually I'll get my employer to pay for it, which that hasn't worked out so far yet. But no, my degree is in information technology. It's with a concentration in business management. So no, I do not have any sort of educational background when it comes to literature or literary anything. I can barely read half the time. I can barely read these questions. So, yeah. Number 3, do you typically do any research on either the book or the author before you review a book? Again, I don't review a book. I talk about books. But I don't consider what I do reviews. But yes, I do usually have I try to have like an about the author section in my videos. I don't put a lot of effort into them. And in fact, I like the ones that are best that are actually in the book already. I'll read those. Kind of give, because maybe some viewers don't know about Winston Groom, who I won't shut up about, or Elmore Leonard or Don DeLillo or whatever. And having a little bit of a background who they are, I think it's kind of a nice touch. And as far as the book goes, a lot of times I'll take a little peek on Goodreads and see what people are saying about it. I don't think it influences me, but I am interested in seeing if other people share some of my own thoughts. And oftentimes I do see a few people kind of agreeing with what I got out of it. So then sometimes I learn something completely new that right over my head. So I think it's all right. Um, Number 4, do you focus your reviews more on the objective qualities of a book or more on your subjective opinions about it? I, I don't think I can do much in the way of objectiveness. You'd have to go watch my videos and tell me. But I think most of my stuff's going to be subjective. Again, I'm not really a deep reader, and I couldn't tell you if something's in first person, third person, or other person, or I don't see like a lot of theme. Like if I get like wind of like lenses to read things through or themes and stuff, I can kind of pick it out then. But if I'm sitting down fresh with the book, I'm reading the book pretty much as it is, and can't say I'm going to get a lot of out of everything or even most things. So Certain books do click right away with me, but a lot of stuff, a lot of the little nuances probably go right over my head, to be honest with you. Number 5, have you ever received a free book or advanced reader copy from the author? And if so, did it ever have any impact on your ability to honestly review the book or how you felt about it? No, I've never received anything from an author. I tried NetGalley there for a little bit, long time ago, 3-4 years ago, probably pretty close to like the start of this channel. And I gave that up pretty quickly because I wasn't getting, for one, there's not a lot of new releases I'm even remotely interested in. The stuff I was interested in, I wasn't getting. Um, so yeah, I lost interest in that real quick. But I, I, I have my email down my thing, and every once in a while, like somebody or like email me a random EPUB of something, and if you think for a second I'm going to open up a link to a cold call email that I have no idea who you are, it'd be real easy to figure out what my channel's about, and just try and get me to catfish me into clicking on a EPUB that's really some sort of virus, and all of a sudden you're taking over my computer, my channel, and my bank accounts. It's not going to happen. So yeah, I get weird cold call emails every once in a while. I'm sure there's like an actual email term for that, not cold call, but I'm not going to click on it. And you typically, I'll do a polite reply saying, I'm just probably not your target audience, and I'm not gonna just shout out everything that comes my way that's free, just because, again, I don't know if you're legit or not. I don't know what your background is. The last thing I want to do is shout out an author that I know nothing about, and to find out that they do really bad things. So, and then all of a sudden now here I am shouting that person out. So, but if Don DeLillo writes another book and he wants to send me it, it'd been kind of nice if Michael Crichton's estate would have sent me his new book. He's been dead for 20 years, and yet he just keeps on writing. It'd been, there's definitely authors I would love to get a like a free arc, or it'd be like, it'd be so cool, but no authors really know who I am. I've had one author comment on my video, and that was the author that wrote the Todd Goldberg, who wrote the Burn Notice books. I read the first Burn Notice book, and he commented on my video, and he was very nice. I thought that was really awesome. He took the time to comment on my video. So, number 6, do you review every book you read? Are there any reasons you might read a book but chose not to review it? Since I read stuff when I was on my hiatus, I didn't talk about that. But yeah, basically, if I pick up a book, the only time I won't talk about it is if I DNF it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back to it at some point. But if it's a DNF that I know I'm never going to go back to again, I'll even talk about that. But I can't think of anything that I've read since I've been back, or while I was active on the BookTubes, that I read that I didn't review, or didn't have at least not review, talk about, or at least have the intentions to talk about. So yeah, I think I talk about everything. And then number 7, how do you feel about the fact that many people now primarily consume book reviews by hobbyists on BookTube rather than professional critics? What is lost and what is gained? I think it's just that simple, supply and demand. I have never read a professional book review to my knowledge. I couldn't even tell you the last time I even read a newspaper or a magazine or something that would even have a book review in it. It's probably been 20 years, to be honest. But if it was still a thing that wasn't a time and or money sink for the publishers to do, then it would still be a thing. But apparently people just don't consume that kind of product, and if publishers can use that space to either fill it with stuff that makes some money, or just not produce it anyway. If you could cut out 3 or 4 pages in your magazine or newspaper or whatever and save that money, I get it. I guess in one way it's kind of sad, but again, if it's not something that the current market wants, then what are you going to do? Um, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I get why the question. I think it's kind of a weird question. I get what she's going after, uh, um, but yeah, I don't know. I just think if there was a need for it, that it would still be a thing. And I think we all kind of know that newspapers and magazines are kind of going the way of the dodo bird. So, if what's the difference between if somebody Googles Don DeLillo underworld? I'm just staring at that. I'm just going to keep talking about Don DeLillo. If they search it and they get a book blog and the book blog answers all their questions, and versus name a famous working book critic. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, I guess, to be honest. But I should have said, because I was going to say, I thought maybe I'd have an opportunity. I don't think I do reviews. I talk about single books. I try to do a single video for the single books that I read, and I know that's kind of a dying thing on BookTube. Also, a lot of people just kind of do like month end wrap ups and things, and I think that's perfectly fine. I like just doing the standalone stuff so that way I can find things if I want to find it. Because I think I mentioned it earlier. I consider this like a book journal more than anything. It's like I do this selfishly. So, and I'm not qualified to criticize anybody's work. And when I do have to say something negative, I feel awful, especially if the author is still alive. For example, I was really wanting to do Zadie Smith this year, and after White Teeth, I just couldn't get along with her stuff. And every time I had to talk about one of her books, I felt terrible, and then I'm just gonna stop reading it. Just when you have 3 DNFs in a row, and she doesn't know who I am. She'll never know who I am. But I still felt terrible having to say I don't like it. So, yeah, I feel like I didn't answer number 7, but that's the best I can do. So, I know a lot of people have already done this tag, and so I don't know who I could even tag for it. But if you haven't done it yet and you want to do it, do it. It's pretty cool. I've really like seeing other people's answers, uh, and it seems like a lot of people have struggled with number 1. Uh, a lot of people don't really consider themselves an authority on anything, and we're just a lot of us are just schmucks on that have a camera and can figure out how to hit record and upload. So, uh, anyway, that's it for this one, peeps. Cheers. My mouse died. Okay, here we go. Cheers.